Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How many of you are chasing goals right now? How many of you are grinding, hustling, ticking boxes, thinking once I achieve this, I'll be happy? Now, I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself, what happens after the goal is achieved? Because the truth is, life doesn't end at the finish line. Life is not a series of check marks. It's a living, breathing, unfolding adventure. The real power, the real fulfillment, the kind of energy that gets you jumping out of bed with excitement comes from designing a life that matters, not just to you, but to the world around you. It's about stepping beyond goals and stepping into purpose. It's about waking up every morning and saying, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to live fully. I'm going to grow relentlessly, and I'm going to contribute something that matters. When you embrace that, when you start to align your actions with your deepest values, something incredible happens. You stop chasing and start living. You stop surviving and start thriving. And today, I want to take you on a journey that will challenge what you think about success, push you to redefine what achievement means, and ignite that fire inside you to design a life so meaningful, so aligned, so powerful that nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you. True fulfillment is something far deeper than the temporary high of achieving a goal or reaching a milestone. Many people spend their entire lives setting one goal after another, believing that once they accomplish the next step, happiness will automatically follow. But the reality is, goals alone are like destinations on a map. They provide direction, but they do not provide the energy, the passion, or the sense of meaning that fuels a life worth living. True fulfillment emerges when we step beyond the simple act of achieving and start designing a life rooted in purpose, a life that is aligned with our deepest values and the contributions we want to make to the world. It is the difference between living reactively, chasing a series of external validations, and living proactively, crafting an intentional path that resonates with who we are at the core. When we begin to see our life as a masterpiece we are actively shaping, rather than a checklist to complete, we unlock a profound sense of satisfaction that no goal alone can provide. This sense of fulfillment is not measured by material possessions, accolades, or social approval. It is measured by the depth of our engagement, the impact we have on others, and the alignment between our actions and our inner convictions. When we focus solely on achieving goals without examining the meaning behind them, we often find ourselves feeling empty or unsatisfied, even in moments of apparent success. The human spirit craves connection, significance, and growth, and it is only when our pursuits reflect those needs that we experience true joy. Fulfillment is about the process, about the journey, and about the contribution we make along the way. It is about waking up each day with energy, with a sense of purpose, and with the awareness that what we do matters not just to us, but to the larger world. It requires courage to step off the path of conventional success, to ask difficult questions about what truly matters, and to align every choice we make with the life we want to live. It requires honesty to confront our fears, acknowledge our limitations, and embrace the opportunities for growth that life presents. By cultivating this deeper perspective, we shift from a mindset of scarcity, where success is fleeting and fulfillment is conditional, to a mindset of abundance, where life is rich with meaning, possibilities, and purpose. True fulfillment is a living experience. It is the energy that radiates from within when we act in harmony with our values, when our passions are expressed fully, and when our contributions leave a positive mark on the world around us. It is the difference between existing and truly living, between surviving and thriving. And it begins the moment we recognize that life is not about reaching the next goal, but about creating a journey that is intentionally and profoundly meaningful. Personal growth is not a destination. It is a continuous journey, a deliberate process of becoming the person you were meant to be. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that growth happens automatically with time, that simply going through life will somehow transform you into a better version of yourself. But the truth is, growth requires clarity, focus, and massive action. It demands that you take responsibility for your life, that you examine your habits, beliefs, and choices, and that you actively seek ways to expand your capacity in every area, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Growth begins with clarity, the ability to see exactly where you are, where you want to go, and what it will take to bridge the gap. Without clarity, we wander through life reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. It is this clear vision of who you want to become and what you want to achieve that fuels the motivation to take consistent, purposeful, action. But clarity alone is not enough. Focus is essential because the world is full of distractions, competing demands, and endless possibilities that can pull you off course. Focus allows you to prioritize what matters most, to direct your energy where it will have the greatest impact, and to resist the temptation to chase every shiny object that comes your way. Massive action is the third critical element because knowledge and intention mean nothing without execution. Growth happens when you consistently step outside your comfort zone, when you embrace challenges that stretch your abilities, and when you persist in the face of setbacks, uncertainty, and fear. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to strengthen your resilience. It requires a mindset of continuous improvement, a commitment to lifelong learning, and a willingness to confront your limitations while pushing beyond them. Personal growth is also about self-awareness, understanding your emotions, your triggers, and the patterns that influence your behavior. It is about developing emotional intelligence, building meaningful relationships, and cultivating habits that support your highest potential. When you dedicate yourself to growth, you transform not only your capabilities, but also your perspective, your confidence, and your sense of possibility. You begin to see life as a series of opportunities for learning, contribution, and self-expression rather than as a series of random events. Growth is not comfortable, and it is not instantaneous, but it is the engine that drives a life of fulfillment, purpose, and extraordinary results. And it is available to anyone who is willing to commit to the process, embrace the challenges, and take consistent, focused action toward becoming they are truly capable of being. The power to design your life lies not in your circumstances, your environment, or the hand you've been dealt, but in the choices you make and the mindset you cultivate. Far too often, people blame external factors for their limitations, believing that their potential is dictated by luck, upbringing, or current conditions. The truth is, your life is a reflection of your decisions, your beliefs, and your ability to take control of your own destiny. Mastering your mindset is the first step in claiming that power, because the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. When you train your mind to focus on possibilities rather than obstacles, to seek solutions instead of dwelling on problems, and to embrace responsibility rather than blame, you unlock the ability to create outcomes that once seemed impossible. It begins with awareness, becoming conscious of the patterns, habits, and beliefs that have shaped your behavior and the results you've experienced so far. Many people operate on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts and actions that have produced mediocre results, unaware that they hold the capacity to shift the trajectory of their life at any moment. Once you recognize this, you gain the freedom to choose differently, to challenge limiting beliefs, and to replace them with empowering convictions that fuel your growth and performance. Every choice you make, from the people you surround yourself with to how you manage your time to the actions you take toward your goals, has a compounding effect on your life. This is where the real power lies, not in waiting for circumstances to improve, but in shaping your inner world so that it drives meaningful action in the outer world. Designing your life requires intentionality, discipline, and courage because it demands stepping out of comfort zones, confronting fear, and taking responsibility for outcomes. It is about setting a vision for the life you want and making daily decisions that align with that vision, even when distractions, setbacks, and societal pressures try to pull you off course. When you embrace the idea that your choices matter more than your circumstances, you shift from a mindset of victimhood to one of empowerment, realizing that you are the architect of your own destiny. This perspective changes everything. It transforms challenges into opportunities, failures into lessons, and ordinary moments into stepping stones toward an extraordinary life. Your ability to design a meaningful life is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond, the beliefs you hold, and the deliberate actions you take to shape the life you envision. When you step fully into this power, you begin to live intentionally, act purposefully, and create a life that reflects not only your aspirations, but the highest expression of who you are capable of being. Meaning in life is not something that can be handed to you, bought, or achieved through external measures. It is something that emerges when your actions are fully aligned with your deepest values and passions. Many people chase success in the form of wealth, recognition, or status, believing that these achievements will automatically bring satisfaction, only to discover that something essential is missing. True meaning arises when what you do each day resonates with who you are at your core, when your work, relationships, and choices reflect your authentic self and contribute to a purpose greater than yourself. This alignment is the bridge between ordinary existence and extraordinary living, because it transforms routine tasks into acts of significance and mundane responsibilities into opportunities for growth and impact. Living a meaningful life requires introspection and honesty. You must take the time to understand what matters most to you, what ignites your energy, and what kind of legacy you wish to leave behind. This process often involves peeling back layers of societal expectations, external pressures, and limiting beliefs to uncover the values that truly define you. Once you identify those guiding principles, every decision you make becomes a reflection of your commitment to them, creating consistency between your internal world and your external actions. Meaning is also about connection to others, to your community, and to something larger than yourself. It is cultivated when your actions contribute positively to the lives of others, when your presence inspires, uplifts, or supports, and when your efforts create ripples that extend beyond your immediate circumstances. This sense of contribution generates a profound satisfaction that no personal achievement alone can provide. Living in alignment with your passions amplifies this effect because Scion fuels perseverance, resilience, and creativity. When you engage in work or pursuits that excite and energize you, challenges become opportunities, obstacles become lessons, and setbacks become temporary pauses rather than insurmountable barriers. Your actions gain momentum not merely from obligation or discipline, but from genuine enthusiasm, and this energy propels you toward increasingly significant accomplishments. Cultivating a life of meaning also requires courage, because it often involves stepping away from conventional paths, taking risks, and resisting societal pressures that prioritize status over substance. It demands that you embrace uncertainty and trust that by following your values and passions, you will create an experience of life that is fulfilling, authentic, and impactful. As your actions continue to align with your internal compass, you notice a shift in how you perceive the world and yourself, and the daily rhythm of life becomes infused with purpose, intentionality, and a deep sense of satisfaction. It is in this alignment that the true essence of a meaningful life emerges, shaping not only the outcomes you achieve, but also the quality, richness, and depth of your lived experience. Transformation is not a casual process, nor does it happen by simply wishing for change. It requires a deliberate decision to break through the barriers that have been holding you back and to step boldly into the life you are capable of creating. Most people are held captive by limiting beliefs, ideas about themselves, their abilities, and what is possible that quietly dictate their choices and constrain their potential. These beliefs often form over years, shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, and fear of failure, and they can be so ingrained that we accept them as truth without question. True transformation begins the moment you recognize these patterns and make a conscious choice to challenge them, to question whether they serve your highest purpose, and to replace them with empowering beliefs that enable growth and possibility. It requires courage because stepping beyond familiar limitations often brings discomfort, uncertainty, and resistance, yet it is precisely through this process that profound change occurs. Transformation also demands consistent action, not sporadic effort. It is not enough to think differently or feel inspired momentarily. You must align your daily behaviors, decisions, and habits with the new identity you are striving to create. This alignment between thought, belief, and action is what produces lasting change and allows you to move beyond surface-level adjustments into deep, sustainable transformation. Another critical element is resilience, the ability to persist in the face of setbacks, criticism, or failure. Growth and transformation are rarely linear. They involve trials, mistakes, and learning experiences that test your determination and commitment. Those who embrace these challenges as opportunities to strengthen their character, refine their skills, and deepen their understanding emerge stronger, more capable, and more confident. Transformation is also about expanding your vision of what is possible. Many people limit themselves because they have accepted a narrow definition of success or potential. But when you commit to stepping into your full capacity, you open doors to opportunities, experiences, and achievements that were previously unimaginable. It requires a mindset of possibility, the willingness to dream bigger, and the courage to pursue those dreams with relentless determination. Ultimately, transformation is about reclaiming your power, taking responsibility for your life, and refusing to allow fear, doubt, or external circumstances to define your destiny. It is about consciously designing the life you want, embracing growth at every level, and committing to becoming the best version of yourself. It is a journey of continual evolution, a relentless pursuit of improvement, and a bold declaration that you will not settle for mediocrity, that you will rise to the challenges necessary to live a life of purpose, passion, and extraordinary achievement.